Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. This is the second episode of the Boise Business Spotlight with Adventure Media. My name is Autumn. I am the content creator behind Adventure Boise. And every Tuesday evening, I am getting on to showcase a small local business in the Treasure Valley area. This week's small business owner is going to be Megan from Boise Beauty Boards. Last week, I had the pleasure of interviewing Casey from Tater Joe Idaho Apparel, repping her shirt again this week. But this week, it's going to be Megan from Boise Beauty Boards. And so I did put together a fun slideshow to actually show some of her content while I am talking. So, Megan from Boise Beauty Boards. She's a mom of two, recently married to her amazing husband, Jacob. She is a passionate advocate for domestic violence awareness, from overcoming a childhood condition that made it hard for her to eat, to leaving a successful career in marketing to pursue her love for creating stunning charcuterie full-time. She's got an incredible story to share. So let's dive into her journey of creativity, resilience, and building a business that brings people together in the Treasure Valley. So I am going to go ahead and welcome her on. And everyone in front of a ton of people. But let's go ahead and welcome Megan. I am going to leave the comments on this time. But if you have any questions, you can send them right away. Hey, Megan, welcome to the Boise Business Spotlight. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being on this live. I am so excited to share your business with the Treasure Valley. And
Thank you.
I'm going to let you just start and kind of talk about who you are and your business.
Yeah, so my name is Megan. I am the owner of Boise Beauty Boards. I've been in business for about 2.5 years now, so it's going strong. Like you had said in your introduction, I've got 2 amazing kids and a wonderful husband, and I just love making charcuterie. It's just become a passion of mine. I love cheese, so anytime I can figure out like different cheeses to put on a board, it's fun and exciting for me. And so I've been able to make beautiful little boards to huge creations and everything in between.
That's awesome. And so obviously I follow your content, which is how I found you.
Yeah.
And if people haven't seen your stuff, they need to go follow you because it's gorgeous.
Thank you.
I want to hear about how you actually got into charcuterie and kind of that story.
Yeah, so that's kind of a funny story. I actually don't have any experience being in catering or being a chef. I did some restaurant jobs when I was younger, but I started doing charcuterie because my son was graduating high school and we were going to have a big party, and I said I wanted to do like a grazing table for his high school graduation party. So I did. It was awful. But then it just kind of led me to keep it, honing into my craft and bringing boards to my friends' birthday parties and Christmas and all the different things. And finally, one of my friends told me I should go into business because she just loved everything I did. And at that time, I had too much on my plate. I was like, no, I do not want to go into business. It sounds like way too much work. And then unbeknownst to me, she started referring me out to her friends and family and actually got me my first client. And I, within a week, got my, Instagram, Facebook, website put together and started my business. And I had to learn a lot of the rules and all that stuff along the way. So it was, there's some hiccups at the beginning, but I really was able to just kind of thrive. And I did it part-time for about the first 6 months.
Okay.
And then my company had a transition, and so I left, and I was gonna look at other things to do, like becoming a realtor, which everyone does. Nothing wrong with that. But with with encouragement from my then boyfriend, now husband, he's like, you should just start, make your business like good. And I started getting into networking groups and building, and it just became my full-time job. And so what's great about it is I'm able to do things during the week that other people can't because they're still working part-time or full-time somewhere else. So it's really been kind of a journey and experience, and just something that's really been, I love to see the growth that has happened in my business.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you, so you were you were doing full-time marketing and then part-time. So were you doing this just on weekends for just friends and family at first?
No, I was doing weddings on the weekend. I was doing parties. I was happy because I was making enough to pay for groceries each week.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this works.
That's a good side project.
Yeah, so I wasn't really like investing as much into it. I was just like, okay, it's fun. It's kind of my hobby turned into business. So, but yeah, it was just kind of one of those things that I did. And I actually took off a day or two from my job because I did have stuff during the week, and my managers found out, and they're like, okay, so you're working on your day off? What are you doing?
And with the marketing, do you feel like that was helpful? So you said you had a marketing background. Was that like really helpful when you jumped into this space to kind of know how to market your business, or were you kind of hitting the ground running when you started?
Yeah, so because I have a lot of knowledge and I don't know everything, I still try to learn as much as I can. But I think that, being able to have your own Facebook and Instagram page built for you in like a day is great. A lot of people don't even know how to start with that. Learning how to get on Google and have your SEO is really good because that is where people can find you and put reviews and all that. So I had a lot of that knowledge already that I knew like the steps to do to start. There were things that I had to learn about, like the ordering. I didn't really manage it well when I first started, but then I got a system called Honeybook, and it like changed everything and just was so streamlined and made a world of a difference between emailing back and forth, 20 times to someone, and then having an order form on your website where people can go, select what they want, and then just purchase.
Nice. And when you first started, were you just doing like only, because obviously now I've seen your stuff and you do weddings, you do events, you're really involved with a ton of the local small business. It looks like meetups in the Treasure Valley as well. Mm-hmm. But when you first started, did you just do like a one service fits all and then expand, or how did that go as you progressed?
Well, interesting enough, in my first month of having my official business, I actually booked my first wedding. Oh, so wow. I was already hitting the ground running, and I didn't really know like what I needed to do for that. But luckily the wedding was far enough in advance that I had some grazing tables and stuff that I did beforehand to kind of practice and, figure out what I needed. But I also looked at what other charcuterie artists were doing. I follow a lot of amazing women and men online. I'm part of a couple charcuterie Facebook groups. And so that really helped me kind of figure out the details of what I needed to do. As far as one size fits all, I was kind of just winging it. I wasn't, putting anyone, out. I wanted to try to do everything. Like all business owners do. They're like, oh, yeah, we can do that, even though they had no idea what to do at first. It's like, we just jump in and we're like, we'll figure it out as we go. So that's kind of my story.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, you've obviously, it's been less than 3 years, and it sounds like you've grown like crazy. Mm-hmm. Again, I've seen you're very active in the community, and you had this marketing background, so you were able to, start with knowing SEO and knowing all this. So I would say, what was the hardest thing for you then starting? So, because for a lot of people, it seems like it's the advertising and the marketing. Was that the case for you, or did you have other kind of hurdles that you had to overcome initially?
So my hurdles were definitely a little more internal. I always had a lot of self-doubt, if I was doing the right thing, if I was pairing the right cheeses with the right meats, and really had a lot of internal, dialogue within myself of like, am I good enough to do this? Like, and why should I be a business owner? Why should I stand out in the community? And so it just took a lot of time to really have that confidence to make sure that I knew that people valued what I brought, I guess. And so that was a lot of the struggle for me. I also had early on some criticism that I had to, kind of navigate online, and went through that period. It was only like a couple of weeks, but it was really hard because I was like, this is my livelihood and people are trying to attack me. So that was something that I wasn't prepared for. Obviously, when you get online and you expose yourself to the world, you have that, that opportunity for people to, take you down a notch. And so that's what, some people did, and I got through it. And it felt, like after that time, I was like, okay, I know what to expect now, and here's how I can move forward.
Yeah. I feel like, and I agree with you, I feel like when you get online, I think that a lot of people don't realize that there's a person behind content or the business, and it's almost like you get these trolls is the best word to put it.
Yes.
These trolls who just say these negative things that they would never say to your face, especially when it comes to small businesses and online in general. So good for you for overcoming that and like getting through that, because I have friends who have started businesses and just couldn't handle, or even started social media pages and couldn't handle kind of the criticism because it comes out of
Yeah.
nowhere. You don't feel like you did anything to deserve it. So
Yeah.
good on you for rising above that. As a business owner in Boise, it seems like there's a great community here. How soon did you get hooked up into the, kind of small business community here? I know there's a lot of female-owned businesses, and I've seen a lot of meetups. How quickly did you get involved?
So I actually did not get involved with any women groups until I had quit that job and started full time with my charcuterie business. And I remember it was in January that I was invited to do a spread for a women's group, which I'm still part of. And that was the first time I really kind of was like, okay, there are women out here who are business owners like me and trying to figure it out. And I just felt so embraced. And of course, people loved my food.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was already an in right there. But as I started going to these groups, for me, I'm actually more of an introvert than an extrovert. So when I go to some of these groups, even now, I I sometimes hold back because I'm like too afraid to talk to people or whatever. But I've been able to go to so many groups now. I think I'm part of like 4 or 5 different women's groups, and people know me and they've seen me online and they come up to me and they're like, "Oh yeah, we follow you." And I'm like, "Okay." I feel like kind of a celebrity, but not like really. Um, and so it's kind of nice to have that community that supports you and loves you and hires you even. I'm part of a huge networking group that I have met some amazing women that just really want to have that deeper connection. So what I mean by that is we have one-on-ones where we go out to coffee and actually like talk about our life and talk about what's going on and leave the business aside and really get to know the story and the person behind everything. And it's really helped me connect with women. I have a lot of wonderful, beautiful friends that I have established in my life, but
Mhm.
being able to have some friends that are business owners has been just essential for me.
Yeah, just to kind of, you guys are going through the trenches together,
Yeah.
right? So you can talk about the things that are difficult. You can talk about the things that are, you're struggling with, and maybe come to solutions together.
Yeah.
When you first started, did you have them? I mean, because starting a food business, a charcuterie business as well in Boise, what type of things did you have to learn about? Because obviously you said, you're fully licensed. Do you have a kitchen? Do you do all this in home? I mean, navigating all of those kind of intricate pieces, what does that look like?
Yeah, so basically for charcuterie, because it's cheese and meat and it has to be temperature regulated, you are not able to do it out of your home. So you have to have a commercial kitchen to work out of, which I do. You also have to be inspected by the health department, and basically they just inspect your kitchen. And if you're in a regular commercial kitchen in the Boise area, they usually have, standards that they uphold to. And then, you have to have a business license or a business insurance and be registered and all that kind of stuff. So those were things that I actually had to learn very quickly because, and I learned it also online from Facebook groups because everyone's like, you can't just go off and do this on your own. If you're selling to people, you really need to have the health and safety standards to your business, because you don't want people to get sick, you don't want people to have food poisoning.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's like
not good for business.
Yeah, it's not good at all. So luckily I have been able to learn all this stuff that I need and implement that into my business.
That's cool that there's Facebook groups where you can learn all that. I mean, that sounds like a steep learning curve, but again, you're crushing it. If you could do it over again, so if you were starting from zero, or you were talking to yourself, 3 years ago, what would you tell yourself to do differently, or, what could have you done differently, you think?
I would have jumped in this feet first. I mean, when you put all of your energy and passion into your business, it shows. And it shows not just with sales, but it shows with the connections you make. It shows with the content you put out. It shows with the quality that you are, trying to get to. I really value the fact that I, I've gotten to a certain level that I didn't think I could have, 2 years ago. And that's just, honing into your craft and learning and, delivering and, listening to what people want or don't want. And it's really been just amazing how much better my business is when you are just in 100%.
Yeah. That's a great answer. I feel like that's what Casey said last week too, is just jumping kind of in and regretting not doing it sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the future. So again, you've grown like crazy. You're fully in, 100% in. What are your goals, like your big kind of pie in the sky goals for the next few years?
Well, one of my pipe dreams is to hopefully open up my own charcuterie shop. But I kind of have a twist to it. I want it to be a cheese and wine shop
Ooh.
and then have charcuterie with it. Um, if you look around the Treasure Valley, they have amazing grocery stores with cheese, but they don't have an actual cheese shop. Now, I do know there are places that are smaller that have cheese in them, but I'm talking just all the different cheeses, all the international cheeses, every cheese you can even think of in my shop.
Sounds like my type.
That's what I'm hoping.
I love cheese.
And then, of course, you have to have wine with it. So
yes.
I'd have to get that license and figure all that out.
Got it. Well, we have so many good wineries here, too. You could have all the cheeses from all over the world and all the wineries from Idaho.
Yes.
So many.
Exactly. So that's my awesome pipe dream. And it might happen, in a couple years or 5 years. I don't know, but I'm here for the long haul. I think right now I'm just expanding, hiring my, employees and trying to, take on more than what I've already have done, and just really get to that next level of success.
And how many employees do you have? Because that's a huge for going solo to employees. How many employees do you have now?
Well, I have two part-time assistants, and when I say employees, it's my daughter and her teenage friend.
Still count. They still
So,
count.
but I still pay them well, so they are paid employees. But they've helped me so much. In fact, I have some pictures somewhere on Instagram of my daughter and also possibly her friend, helping me with grazing tables and all sorts of stuff. And it's been fun showing teenagers hard work. Because with charcuterie, you guys see all the beautiful presentations, but you don't see the shopping. You don't see the cheese that we have to buy and cut and prep. You don't see all the, salami roses that we have to make. It's a lot of work behind the scenes. And so people are like, oh yeah, charcuterie, I can do that on my own. And then they try to do it and they see how much it is and how much it costs. And so that's where I've been able to set up wholesale accounts, so I don't have the huge cost of cheese at Albertsons or whatever. I've been able to, I have a stockpile of crackers and nuts and stuff like that. So when people are talking about charcuterie and just, oh, it's fun, it's fun, but it's a lot of work as well behind the scenes.
Every time I see those salami roses, I've tried to make one. It did not go well. I'm always like, that is a work of art every time you put one of those together, because every time I've tried to make charcuterie, it turns out awful. So definitely props to you.
Thank you.
With the wholesale and everything, is that something that you just have learned because obviously that makes it a little bit cheaper for the business perspective? Is that something you just learned as you've gone too and kind of figured out as you go along?
Yeah, I was trying to I saw someone post it, and again, Instagram and Facebook have a lot of great ideas from other people that you can kind of formulate on your own. And I looked into it. I looked into what needed, what you needed to get a wholesale account, and I just started emailing and filling out forms online. And I probably have, well, I've got a whole network of wholesale accounts that I can, go through to, I basically get cheese delivered to my door, which is so awesome. And I get cheeses that you can't find here locally, because Boise, you have a lot of great selection, but there's some things that you're missing. So I get the stuff that's missing, and I, put it on my board so people can try something new. And same with meats. There's a lot of good meat here, and when you get salami from Vermont, that tastes completely different. It's, it really helps elevate your boards. And that's what I try to do, is elevate the palate and elevate the board at the same time.
And you said a lot of cheeses. What is your favorite cheese? So what's your favorite cheese to put on the boards?
I knew you were going to ask that. So it's kind of a weird one. I've have two. So Bella Vitino has a Merlot soaked cheese, which is delicious. And that's something you can get locally, or at most grocery stores and everything. I also have another cheese called Purple Moon cheese. Mm-hmm. It also is a wine-soaked cheese, and it's totally purple, and then you cut into it, and it's white, and it's just so delicious and creamy. And those are my two favorites. I have developed other, fan faves that I've gotten. That there's like a smoked goat cheese that I've been able to find that's really good. There's just so many different flavors out there, and it's fun to try all different ones. But those were the ones that were like the OGs.
Okay. They both, I mean, you said wine soaked, and I was like,
Yes.
sounds great. And do you know, when you do your cheeses, do you sample everything yourself first and then decide kind of what pairs together? You know, how do you, because that's a lot of cheese to try, obviously. So, you know, how do you kind
Yes.
of, yeah, I was gonna say you're probably like a cheese expert at this point.
No, I'm definitely not a cheese expert. I have a lot to learn. But so when I'm ordering the cheese, I usually look at what the description is. If it's a creamy cheese, if it's a hard crystallized cheese, I look at that. I look at where it's from. I really like to learn about the cheese and what, it is. And then sometimes on my ordering, I can see what it can pair well with because it's right there on my order form. Or I have done some research on, and I've got, books and, things on Pinterest and everything. I've been able to really figure out like what, if you have a creamy Merlot cheese, like I mentioned, it pairs well with, the regular salami, but then it also pairs well with strawberries and it pairs well with blackberries. And so, just kind of finding those things to really develop your flavors on your board.
I mean, I love how passionately you talk about it because it's such, you can tell that you're so excited about your art and excited about your business. And I just really love that. I think that's awesome. Um, you know, out of everything I've asked you, is there something specific that you want to say to the audience or, to both of our kind of audiences about, your business, about your kind of business journey, something I haven't asked you yet?
So, well, it's interesting because I'll tell you just briefly, 6 years ago, I was a completely different person in my life and in my career path and everything else. You mentioned in your introduction that I am a domestic violence survivor. And I say survivor because I really did have to fight and survive to be here today. And I feel blessed. I know God has helped me a lot in my journey to overcome that abusive relationship and really, find myself again and really find, who I am and put away all the negativity that was in my life beforehand. And it's been a journey, and I've had to do a lot of counseling and a lot of deep soul searching, and I'm still on that journey. There are times where I've got my highs and my lows, but I really have been able to overcome so much. Even like you mentioned, also when I was little, I had a lot of developmental disabilities and everything. And just being here today, being a business owner, being a pillar in the community, having 43, 5-star reviews on Google, there's something there.
Yeah.
There's something that I've done right. And I just feel so great and so blessed to be able to be here today to help others know that there is a way out of bad situations and be able to stand on your own feet and be a business owner and be really true to yourself. And I think that's just been a huge experience for me, and I've had a lot of people that love me and have come around me, and it's so fulfilling to be here today back to compared to where I was 6 years
Well,
ago.
and as a survivor, do you work with any local groups? Because you are, I mean, you are a pillar in the community. You are this great kind of beacon of hope for people who are going through currently potentially similar situations that you might have gone through. Do you work with any local advocacy groups right now to kind of mentor or help out women in similar situations?
So not directly. I do have Faces of Hope. They actually helped me get out of my situation at the time, and they were only like just beginning when I came to them. And I've been able to donate to them. I've been able to go to their events and everything. They just had the Rockathon in Meridian, helping raise money. And every October, it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so I donate a portion of all my proceeds or all my sales to Faces of Hope, just to give back and everything. I have been talking to a couple people about doing more direct help, but it's just, I had to really overcome a lot of stuff. It's still hard for me to sometimes share my story, so I'm working on that. Yeah. And eventually I'll be able to, share everything, but it's just one of those things that I'm doing what I can to help out. And then I know there is going to be a transition where I want to definitely help directly. I've even talked about doing like a charcuterie workshop for women that come to Faces of Hope, which I do for, private parties as well. Just plug it in there. But yeah, so I definitely want to try to do more. It just hasn't come to fruition yet.
Thank you for, it's vulnerable to, share your story. And again, it being a kind of a beacon in the community, I feel like will and does give other women hope that there is kind of a way through. And you're a business owner, like you're doing the things, like you're doing the hard things. And I know, you're saying you had some confidence, struggles initially, but you're doing it. And so I think that's amazing that you've come this far and you're continuing to grow in your journey. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I'm going to kind of open it up for any questions because this has been awesome. And obviously I'm going to plug and say, if someone who's watching this is not following Boise Beauty Boards, they need to be. Is there anything else, Megan, that I didn't touch on that, we didn't talk about?
No, I guess I can just finish by saying that fall and Christmas are coming, so holiday boards are coming out, and I'm excited to share that. And it's going to be fun creations, and that's where I really let my creativity go, is during the holidays, because I just get so excited doing different elements, like little skulls for Halloween or Christmas trees, or it's so much fun. So the holidays are going to be a lot of fun to do boards for. So hopefully you guys can see those on my posts. And yeah, I'm excited to just kind of continue serving the community and helping people come and join around food.
Awesome. And Casey from Tater Joe Idaho Apparel is giving you lots of love. I don't know if you can see the comment again.
Yes.
So thank you for watching. And everyone, like I said, go check out Boise Beauty Boards with Megan. And then can people post orders on your Instagram and Facebook, and then link to your website on that as well? I'll make sure I link you to this, obviously, and then later this week I'll link you again on the spotlight of the week for the Boise businesses.
So my website is on my Instagram, right in the bio, so you can go there and order. Of course, you can DM me. I am on social media all the time. I answer all my DMs, either Facebook or Instagram, but I'll mostly direct you to the website, because that's the easiest way for me to keep track of everything and have my orders. And yeah, it's pretty simple, and I can't wait.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Megan. It was a pleasure interviewing you tonight. And thank you, everyone who tuned in and being so supportive. And I love this community. So see y'all next Tuesday.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Megan. Thank you for being here.
Bye.